Fear. We all know it. It's a feeling that creeps in quietly, sometimes when we least expect it. It whispers doubts in our ears, making us question our abilities, our worth, and our place in the world. It magnifies insecurities, turning small worries into towering obstacles. Fear can be a silent companion, lurking in the background of our daily lives, coloring our decisions and shaping our actions. It's the voice that tells us to hold back, to stay safe, to avoid risk. It's the sensation that makes our hearts race and our palms sweat, even when there's no real danger in sight. Fear holds us back from our dreams. It's the invisible barrier that stands between us and the life we truly want to live. It makes us hesitate at the threshold of new opportunities, convincing us that failure is inevitable, that we're not ready, or that we don't deserve success. It's the reason we sometimes turn away from what excites us most, choosing comfort over growth, familiarity over adventure. Fear is a powerful emotion, a universal language that resonates deep within us all. No matter where we come from, what we look like, or what we believe, fear is something we all experience. It connects us in our vulnerability, reminding us that we are human. Across cultures and generations, fear has shaped stories, inspired art, and driven people to both greatness and despair. It's a thread that weaves through the fabric of our shared humanity. We've all been there, paralyzed by the what-ifs and the fear of the unknown. We replay scenarios in our minds, imagining every possible outcome, often focusing on the worst. We hesitate to take the next step, worried about making mistakes or facing rejection. Sometimes fear keeps us awake at night, filling our minds with endless questions and doubts. It can make us feel isolated, as if we're the only ones struggling with these emotions. But remember, you are not alone in this battle. Everyone at some point faces fear. It's a part of being alive. And while fear can feel overwhelming, it's important to know that support is always within reach. Whether it's a friend, a family member, or even a stranger who understands, there are people who care and who have walked this path before you. Together we can find strength in our shared experiences and lift each other up. Fear thrives in the darkness of uncertainty. It grows when we keep it hidden, when we let it fester in silence. But there is hope. Even the smallest glimmer of courage can begin to dispel the shadows. When we acknowledge our fears and face them, we start to reclaim our power. Each step forward, no matter how small, brings us closer to the light. There is a light that can pierce through the darkness, a light born from hope, courage, and connection. When we choose to face our fears, to reach out for support, and to believe in the possibility of change, we discover that we are stronger than we ever imagined. Fear may be a universal language, but so is hope. And together, we can write a new story, one where light triumphs over darkness, and where every step forward is a victory worth celebrating. Faith. It's a simple word, but it holds incredible power. Faith is the quiet strength that steadies us when the world feels uncertain, the gentle whisper that tells us to keep going even when we're afraid. It's the light that shines in the darkness, guiding us forward when we can't see the path ahead. In moments of fear, faith is the anchor that keeps us grounded, reminding us that we are never truly alone. Faith is the opposite of fear. Where fear paralyzes, faith empowers. Fear tells us to shrink back, to doubt, to question our worth and our future. But faith calls us to step forward, to trust, to believe that there is something greater at work even when we can't see it. It's the courage to move ahead, not because we know what will happen, but because we trust in the one who does. Faith is trusting in something bigger than ourselves, even when we can't see the whole picture. It's believing that there is a purpose to our struggles, that every challenge is an opportunity to grow. Faith doesn't mean we never feel afraid. It means we choose to act in spite of our fear. It's the decision to keep moving forward, to keep hoping, to keep loving, even when the outcome is uncertain. Think of the story of Peter walking on water. In the midst of a raging storm, Peter saw Jesus and stepped out of the boat. For a moment, he did the impossible. He walked on water. His faith allowed him to rise above the chaos, to do what no one thought was possible. But the story doesn't end there. When Peter focused on Jesus, he was able to do the impossible. His eyes were fixed on the source of his strength, and for that brief moment, fear had no power over him. He was bold, courageous, and full of hope. But as soon as he shifted his gaze to the wind and the waves, doubt crept in. the fear that had been held at bay by faith began to take over. But when he looked at the storm, fear crept in. The waves seemed bigger, the wind louder, and suddenly he began to sink. This moment is so relatable because we all face storms in life, moments when fear threatens to overwhelm us, when the challenges seem too great to overcome. It's easy to lose sight of hope when we focus on the things that scare us. This is a powerful reminder that our focus determines our reality. When we fix our eyes on our fears, they grow larger and more intimidating. But when we choose to focus on faith, on hope, on love, on the promises that have carried us this far, our fears begin to shrink. We find the strength to stand tall, to face the storm, and to keep moving forward. When we keep our eyes on God, on His promises, we rise above our fears. Faith doesn't eliminate the storms, but it gives us the courage to walk through them. It reminds us that we are never alone, that we are loved, and that there is always hope. So the next time fear tries to take hold, remember, the antidote is faith. Choose to trust, to hope, and to believe that brighter days are ahead. Throughout history, ordinary people have done extraordinary things through faith. Faith is not just a word or a feeling, it's a force that has shaped lives, communities, and even the course of history itself. When we look back, we see countless examples of people who faced overwhelming odds, yet found the courage to move forward because they believed in something greater than themselves. Their stories remind us that faith is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act in spite of it. One of the most powerful stories of faith conquering fear is that of David and Goliath. David, a young shepherd boy, faced the giant Goliath, a seasoned warrior, armed with only a slingshot and 5 smooth stones. But what truly set David apart was his unwavering faith in God. He didn't let the size of his opponent or the doubts of those around him stop him. Instead, he stepped forward, trusting that God would give him the strength he needed. Against all odds, David triumphed, showing us that faith can turn the impossible into reality. Now think about your own life. Each of us faces our own giants, challenges that seem insurmountable, moments when fear threatens to hold us back. Maybe it was a time when you had to make a difficult decision, or when you felt alone and uncertain about the future. In those moments, faith can be the light that guides us through the darkness. Take a moment to reflect. When have you stepped out in faith, even when you were afraid? What did it feel like to trust, even when the outcome was uncertain? Perhaps it was starting a new job, walking into a room full of strangers, or taking on a responsibility that felt overwhelming. Maybe you shared your faith with someone for the first time, not knowing how they would respond. These moments require courage, but more importantly, they require trust. Trust that you are not alone, and that God is with you every step of the way. Each small act of faith builds our confidence and helps us grow stronger, even when the path ahead is uncertain. Or maybe your act of faith was forgiving someone who hurt you deeply. Forgiveness can be one of the hardest things we are called to do, especially when the pain feels fresh. But choosing to forgive is a powerful act of faith. It means letting go of anger and trusting that healing is possible. It means believing that love is stronger than resentment, and that God can bring restoration where there was once brokenness. In these moments, faith gives us the strength to do what seems impossible. Remember the feeling of peace and strength that came from trusting God. There is a unique sense of calm that washes over us when we surrender our fears and place our trust in something greater. Prayer, reflection, and community can all help us reconnect with that sense of peace. When we look back on these moments, we realize that faith didn't just help us survive the challenge, it helped us grow, learn, and become more resilient. That's the power of faith in action. It transforms fear into courage, doubt into hope, and obstacles into opportunities. When we choose faith, we open ourselves to new possibilities and invite God to work in our lives in ways we never imagined. So, as you face your own challenges, remember the stories of those who have gone before you, and know that with faith, you too can conquer your fears and achieve extraordinary things. Faith is not about the absence of fear. It's about trusting God more than we trust our fears. It's about surrendering our worries and anxieties to Him. It's like placing our hand in His and saying, I don't know what the future holds, but I trust You to guide me. This surrender is not weakness, it's the ultimate act of courage. Building faith is a daily practice. It starts with spending time with God, reading His Word, and talking to Him in prayer. Meditate on His promises, write them down, speak them out loud. And surround yourself with people who will encourage your faith and lift you up. Life is full of challenges that can shake our faith. But remember, we don't walk by sight. We walk by faith. This means trusting God even when we don't understand, even when we don't see the way. It means holding on to His promises, even in the midst of storms. Faith has the power to transform us from the inside out. It replaces fear with courage, worry with peace, and doubt with confidence. When we choose faith over fear, we open ourselves up to the limitless possibilities that God has in store for us. We step into the fullness of who He created us to be. Imagine a life where you are not held captive by your fears, where you are free to pursue your dreams with boldness and confidence. This is the life that God desires for you. When we live by faith, we become living testimonies of His goodness. Our lives become a beacon of hope, inspiring others to step out in faith as well. Today, I challenge you to choose faith over fear. Don't let fear hold you back any longer. Take that step of faith, even if it's just a small one. God is with you every step of the way. Trust in His love, His power, and His plan for your life. Embrace faith and watch as He leads you into a life of freedom, purpose, and victory.